Israel is perhaps one of the most controversial countries in the Middle East, whose history, however culture and modern development will leave you with your mouth open. Why are they so hated? And do the Jews control all the world? Stay to the end to find out. But don't forget to scratch me a quick comment on which country should be the next for 50 amazing facts. Despite being located entirely in Asia purely politically, Israel is considered part of Europe. Even at many sports tournaments, it is listed as a European country. That's like saying Syria is in Europe too. But come on, politics, what can I tell you? Besides being the only Jewish state in the world, it is also the only one in the Middle East whose existence is partially unrecognized. Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and some others still don't acknowledge it as an autonomous state. The history of Israel is very long and complicated, but I will try to sum it up in a few facts. History knows two ancient Jewish kingdoms, Judea and Israel. In 135 A.D., the displacement of the Jews began due to the Roman Empire, and so their state ceased to exist, and their people scattered all over the world. Later on, the territory of today's Israel fell under the Ottoman Empire, and after the end of the First World War, these lands were under the control of Great Britain. But the Second World War comes, and you know what happens to the Jews under Nazi rule. That is why many of their families fled to today's Israel. So the Jews in that region became numerous, and in 1948 they declared the State of Israel on Palestinian territory. Many wars, conflicts, and riots followed, but the Jews were supported by a few countries, guess which ones, and so they endured. It's no secret to anyone that the reason Israel is still a relatively stable state in an entirely Arab region is the US. They constantly support them militarily, strategically, economically, politically, and socially. On the news, we hear about the constant conflict between Palestinians who are Arab and Israel. They have a hard time getting along and sharing the area, as Palestine is divided into two territories, the Gaza Strip and the land west of the Jordan River. Israel often is accused of human rights abuses by Amnesty International. According to them, the country has constantly exerted pressure and domination over the Palestinian population there. As I said before, the situation and the story are very complicated, and we won't go into details. The Arabs hate the Jews because they have settled on their land. Hitler in the past hated them because he thought they betrayed Germany in WW1. And of course, because of the purity of the race. The rest of the world somehow doesn't like the Jews because they think they control the world and are stingy, and well, it's madness. They have even invented a specific word, anti-Semitism, that's hating Jews. In response to the Arabs, however, the Jews say that according to the Bible, the land of the covenant, or the promised land, is located where precisely today's Israel is, and it was to this land that God was leading the Israelites. Precisely returning to this land united the Jews from all around the world, and their aspiration was supported by the fact that God had promised it to them. Come on, enough about history, because opinions are indeed very controversial. Let's go back to today's times for more objectivity. Israel is a relatively small country. Its area is about 20,000 square kilometers, which makes it about 5 times smaller than Bulgaria. However, their population is growing, and now is coming close to 10 million people, and as many as 36% of them are under 19 years old, i.e., a very young population. Just for comparison, this percentage in Bulgaria is only 18. In Israel, they have an average of 3 children, while in Bulgaria, 1.5. The largest city and capital is Jerusalem, with a population of 1,300,000, but it is co-sharing with Palestine. But almost all the administrative buildings and embassies in Israel are in Tel Aviv. The reason is that Jerusalem is too sacred, according to the Jews, to be defiled with politics. If you remember, in 2017, Trump tried to move the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and caused quite a stir that way. The official currency there is the shekel, and considering the strong economy, the tech industry, the military, and the support from the U.S., it is no secret to anyone that this currency in the last 25 years has been one of the most stable in the world. Speaking of money, you can shop from Ozone BG with my affiliate link. Just type into the browser Ozone BG/Clash or click the link below in the description. It doesn't cost you anything, but in this way, you are indeed helping the channel a lot. so thank you. Otherwise, the promo code for ARDS BG is Theclashers. About 80% of the population of Israel professes Judaism, and these people have to keep about 600 laws concerning their religion. If you thought Muslims had it hard, you should see the Jews, the ultra-religious parts. So to call them, you remember the ones with the black hats and the tufts of hair in front isolate themselves totally and avoid contact with other religions. They shake while they read the Bible and pray and spit on women who are a bit more exposed. Jews consume specific food called kosher, or translated appropriately. Regarding meat, they are not allowed to eat pork, horse, camel, rabbit, and others. Seafood must have scales and fins, so most delicacies such as squid, octopus, and scallops are not included. Another strange thing is that the combination of some allowed meats with dairy products is forbidden. So forget about some sorts of burgers, pizzas, and absolutely exclude the doner with more sauce. Did you know that in Israeli, there are two types of McDonald's restaurants? Some are red and offer their regular menu, but others are blue, and the food there is all kosher related. Another significant Jewish concept is Shabbat, the seventh day when the whole country closes and stops working. That is Saturday. The weekend in Israel is Friday and Saturday, but Sunday is the beginning of the working week, like our Monday. This whole thing, dear friends, is because of a quote in the Bible that on the seventh day after the foundation of the world, God rests. When a boy turns 13 years of age there, a huge celebration is organized called Bar Mitzvah, which represents a coming-of-age ritual in Judaism. After it, the child can make social and religious decisions about his life. However, the parents remain responsible to the law for his actions until he reaches his non-religious lawful age. Military service in Israel is absolutely mandatory after they reach the age of 18, even for women. Men serve 3 years, women 2. It is the only country in the world with this aspect. The university can only postpone military service but not replace it. Did you know that annually, Germany pays Israel about $500 million as compensation for Holocaust victims? So far, by the way, they have paid about $80 billion. I have already told you that the lowest place on the planet is the Dead Sea, and Israel shares it with Jordan and Palestine. It is about 420 meters below sea level, and its salt concentration is about 10 times that of the world's ocean, so there is no life in it, hence its name, the Dead Sea. The Wailing Wall. Not the one with the test results, but the real one is in Israel. It served as the foundation for the most important temple of the Jews, which was, however, destroyed by the Romans. Constantly in front of it, you can see Jews praying and banging their heads against its stones. Every year, about 1 million visitors travel to Israel specifically to write their most cherished wishes on a note which they crumple up and slip between the stones of the Wailing Wall. People believe that in this way the content reaches God. So, dear friends, we have come to the middle. Give an encouraging thumbs up if you like everything so far, and let's continue, because the most interesting is yet to come. Israel is the only country in the world that has a free trade agreement at the same time with the US, Mexico, Canada, and the entire European Union. Did you know that only about 40% of all Jews worldwide live in Israel? There are just as many in the US alone, and in quite leadership positions. You recall that this is why America patronizes Israel and has trade agreements. Although the country has not been without a representative at the Olympics since the 1952 year, they have only managed to win a single gold medal. And although football is the most popular sport there, the Israeli national team has just managed to qualify once in 1970 for a world championship, and that as an Asian team. The colors of the Israeli flag are blue and white and are not accidental. They actually symbolize the colors of the so-called talava. It's a specific scarf that you put on the head during prayer. The Star of David, in the center of the flag, has been the symbol of all Jews for hundreds of years. The official sign of Israel, let's say, is one of the oldest in Judaism and is called the menorah. It is a 7-branched candlestick whose shape closely resembles a specific sage tree called Moriah. Its branches are so spreading that they may have served as the inspiration for the 7 candlesticks in the Holy Temple of Jerusalem. One of the most important Jewish holidays is Hanukkah, the Festival of Light. It is dedicated to the reconsecration of the temple in Jerusalem, which took place more than 2,000 years ago. The candlestick we talked about a moment ago is called Hanukkah menorah. Hanukkah celebrations are in December and last for 8 whole days. It's eating, drinking, and gifts just like Christmas. Eilat is a port city in Israel which is famous for the fact that, in addition to being duty-free, it has also been declared a place of free trade. That is, there is no VAT or taxes on goods, and that's why they are very cheap. Otherwise, in the rest of the country, the VAT is 17%. Tel Aviv very often ranks as the most expensive city in the world to live in. It actually occurs to be a powerful economic hub that drives the finances of the entire state. National Geographic announced Tel Aviv as the best coastal city on the planet. Israel appears to be the only country in the world that is historically important to 3 entire religions. It is God's promised land for Jews, the Holy Land for Christians, since Jesus Christ was born and crucified there, and for Muslims, it is where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. On one of the walls of the sacred for to all Christians temple, Resurrection of Christ, stands leaning ugly a wooden ladder that has not been moved since the 18th century, for all 300 years. 6 different churches have claimed to own it, and none has let another touch or move it. Did you know that Israel, along with Canada or New Zealand, for example, are some of the few countries in the whole world that do not have a constitution? There is a very peculiar psychological condition which is called Jerusalem syndrome. The afflicted person develops the delusion he was sent by God for some higher purpose after visiting the city. He is almost beginning to consider himself as the new Messiah. You think it's a joke, but there are about 100 documented cases of this syndrome each year. Perhaps the reason for this is that in the church Resurrection of Christ inside is located God's tomb, the most sacred place for Christians. It is believed that this is where exactly Jesus Christ was laid after his crucifixion and eventually resurrected. In this temple, every year, by the way, is taking place the ceremony of the descending of the fire of grace. The story is quite interesting. Every year in April is celebrated Israel's Independence Day with many festivities and fireworks. For Palestinians, however, this same day is known as Nakba Day, or the Day of Calamity, because that is when the State of Israel was established. The Knights Templar have been active in Israel, and it is not known at all what they have hidden in the world. The city of Aki used to be their command center, and now some of their secret tunnels and halls are constantly being discovered there. Walking around the streets of Israel, you have no way but come across these strange little hats that most of the men wear there. It's called a kippah and serves as a symbol that Lord is always standing over the heads of those who wear it. The official languages in Israel as of recently are 2 Hebrew naturally and Arabic. An interesting fact, by the way, is that Hebrew was considered an extinct language about 1,000 years ago until it was revived by the Jews. Thus, Israel became the only country in the world to restore an extinct language and eventually make it official. Every year, thousands of letters from all over the world arrive in Jerusalem with one definite recipient, God. That's why the Israeli Postal Service set up a special box called Letters to God. Every 6 months, they have to collect all the letters from this box and bury them near the Mount of Olives. Did you know that the falafel actually originated in Israel? It is made from ground chickpeas, spices, and appears to be the most famous dish in the country. Besides it, hummus, of course, and shawarma are also held in high esteem. Almost all public buses in Israel have special sound systems that play passages from the Bible and other holy scriptures. In this way, they remind passengers to be polite and always help others. In Israel, there is not such thing as looking for a gift for a wedding bar mitzvah, party, or even a birthday party. There, the invited bring an envelope full of cash, the best present. In Israel, it is customary to leave a good tip in restaurants equaling 15th December 20% of the entire bill even if you didn't like the service. Israelis are not known for being especially friendly people, and even if you forget, they are sure to remind you to drop a shekel. We've all heard of the Jews' fame regarding stinginess and greed. Every Friday, there is a special day for sales. For example, in the shops, if a good is going to spoil, it is released at an extremely low price. The same applies to unwanted items at home. In Tel Aviv, there is an average of 1 dog for every 15 people. That is, by rough calculations, there are 40,000 dogs in this city alone. However, since taxes for pets are paid on the purchase price, many Jews adopt a street superb to avoid paying taxes. The second largest spa center built by the Romans is called Hamat Gader and is located in Israel. In the pictures next to me, you can see ruins, but there are also thousands of mineral water pools enjoyed by thousands of people. So that's it for today, dear friends. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if so, leave a thumbs up. Don't forget, though, that you can hit a digital shoulder by pressing the thanks button, which is located down here somewhere. Subscribe super quickly and easily to the channel from the circle with my picture up here, and click a bell to get notifications when I upload something new. Do you have more free time you want to fill with knowledge and facts? You have no problem. Click quickly on either of these two videos here. Thank you for once again being with me. Bye and see you again.